Hey guys, this is Raydere from Team Immunity. So I'm just going to do it through a patch 4.2 run through. So I've had a chance to play on the patch for quite a bit, and the biggest changes I can see right now would be to Xerath. I haven't really seen much of Skarner, even though I know he has been changed quite a bit. But as that, no one really plays Skarner right now. So biggest change I can see with Xerath right now would be just his W's been given an extra nuke. And his ultimate now is kind of it's a triple artillery as opposed to, well, it was before, but its range has been ridiculously increased. So we'll just get to that later. There has been some minor, bug fixes and changes associated with each patch. The ranked leagues pick order change that isn't coming out in OCE apparently. It is NA only. I personally don't really like the change because I just personally like to control the bans, but I guess everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Client updates, not really much to see here. Vision system, I don't think there's much of a change here, so you just skip right through that. Particle updates, icon updates, not really much. Okay, Xerath. So Xerath's always been kind of a problem to play against. I think that's why they're always trying to overhaul his kit. I think one of the main problems he had was that his range was ridiculous, and he also had a lot of wave clear as well associated with that range. He still has that, but I think what they're trying to do is give a little counterplay to it. So okay. Yeah, like he said before with Xerath's old kit, he had so much rapid fire spell pen that it would be really hard to kind of just dodge. Like he would just be able to instantly burst someone over the wall with his E, Q, R combos. I think with this, they haven't actually nerfed his damage. If anything, they've actually increased his damage. But what they have done with his new kind of kit that I really like is that there's a lot of counterplay to it now. So with his Q, I guess his Q is pretty much the same, but it's not W reliant anymore. The main change that I really like with it is his ultimate. While it does do a ridiculous amount of damage with the massive AP scaling, with massive range, it is actually really difficult to land. So it doesn't seem like a type of ultimate where you can kind of just you can hit someone consecutively 3 times in a row with it. It just seems more like it has to synergize with some sort of CC, like especially if you're using it at at max range. So it's like something like an Amumu would be ganking bot, and then you have Xerath at mid, and you'd be just sniping him after uses ultimate. That's what I can see that could be used really well with his ultimate. Otherwise, I can't really. Yeah, it's really difficult to trust triple hit somebody with his ultimate from half the map away. His Q is pretty much the same. I think I went through it already. His W, it is a pretty good ability actually. Because it actually is a massive amount of slow that you get. I think this gives him a little bit. I think they did this change because of his E. Because of E's change now, his E does seem really underwhelming right now. It doesn't seem to. Its damage is okay, but the problem with it is it's just so slow. It seems to be really underwhelming. It's so easy to dodge at the moment that I think their intention is that you have to hit them with W first before you follow up with your E, which I think is what they're trying to implement into the Xerath system. So he does have some extra counterplay now, because before you just use your W and your E would have ridiculous range, and if you get hit by a spell, you'd pretty much be dead, especially if you're an ADC. So okay, Skarner. It's not much on Skarner right now. I haven't really played much of Skarner, so I can't really say much on him. What I do know is that he does have less CC than before, so if you get hit by Skarner's Crystal Slash, you wouldn't just kind of spam you to death, you can actually escape. Yeah, his slows actually moved to Fracture, but other than really that, I don't really know much about him, so I can't really say much. Okay, Ashe. So Hawkshot, the Hawkshot buff, this is definitely a buff. Most people only get 1 level of Hawkshot anyway. I think the 2 extra bonus gold on kill at level 5 instead of it is a slight nerf on the bonus gold on kill, but I think the cooldown for the reduced cooldown for it definitely outweighs it. So this base overall, this is definitely a buff because most of your CS and gold is going to come from the early game anyway. With three at all ranks. So yeah, it is very rare that the 5 bonus gold is actually going to make a difference later in the game. But I think overall this is just definitely a buff. Mundo's cleavers got skinnier. Yes, this is. I think this is definitely need a change. His infected cleaver was always really hard to deal with. The good thing I like about this change is that it doesn't really kind of affect his impact from top lane. Because his laning phase. Because when you're fighting against bruisers, your missile width doesn't really matter. When you're just kind of fighting someone in melee range, like if you're fighting Renekton in melee range, your missile width isn't really going to matter. It only really matters when the further the target is away, the more it's going to matter. So I think this is a change from this is a change to kind of nerf his sieging and kind of just kiting potential that he had, because there wasn't really much you could do to him with it that could just get up in your face and just spam cleavers on you, because you couldn't really engage on him. So I think this is a really good change. Evelyn, not really much there. Kayle. So Kayle, from what I've seen, Kayle damage has been reduced a lot, but they've increased their utility. So mana cost intervention is gone, and there is a movement speed bonus that scales with AP now. So basically, the problem with Kayle before was that she did so much damage, but her only kind of weak point was that she was really easy to kite. So besides her so if you had some form of escape or CC, it was just really easy to kind of CC and kite. But other than that, I think this change just kind of helps balance her kit a bit more. So like you could argue that she doesn't have a weak point right now, but she also doesn't. I think with this change, she's not really going to have a really strong point anymore. Aside from her ultimate being a really kind of good niche spell against maybe someone like Vi, or combining it with Morg's Black Shield, that'd be really good. Riven. So they buffed her shield by 20 damage early and reduced her base health regen. So basically Riot's aim with this is to kind of encourage use of a Valor better. I think this. I guess it's a good change. I mean, it is increasing the kind of reward for using her Valor correctly in mid lane. I don't really know much about her top lane. I have played her mid lane a bit. I know with her E mid lane, you can dodge a lot of spells and mitigate a lot of damage with it if used correctly, like Dragon Sparrows or Ziggs bombs. So I think this is just increasing the skill cap of Riven that you need to use instead of just health regening through lane. And with this, we might actually see a lot of Doran Shield starts from Riven now instead of Doran's Blade. I know Faker goes Doran's Blade, but we might see him start going Doran Shield now. Flame Spitter, not really much here. Thresh. Okay, Thresh. Thresh has always been a problem main, I feel. I think his kit is just way too good. He has so much all-in potential and lane pressure, and also escape, that I think he just doesn't really have a weak point in his kit. I guess the only weak point you can argue is that he doesn't have a point-and-click CC, as opposed to someone like Annie, who has a point-and-click CC. I think the attack range, it's definitely needed a nerf. I think he will get nerfed a bit more in the future. It's just the fact that he can lane bully and also all-in you, just like Leona, he can all-in you, but Leona can't really lane bully you, as opposed to just pressuring you with an all-in potential. But Thresh his kit is just too good, so I think this is a good change. It's a good nerf. Yasuo. For what I've seen, Yasuo's it is a nerf. The change, his sweeping blade. I guess in lane, when he just spams sweeping blade, his flow stacks won't just increase as much as well. So, but they're trying to mitigate it with, I guess, the change here. So I don't really play much Yasuo, but from what I see, I think he does need a general nerf in general, I guess. Ziggs. Okay, Ziggs. It's not really much of a big change. There is a big change actually. Explosive Minefield. I did play quite a lot of Ziggs back a while ago, so I do know how it kind of works. this is a really big change, major change, because the problem with Ziggs is that he has so much range and wave clear that you couldn't really. He just doesn't have much counterplay. So if the Ziggs with blue buff is just you couldn't really push onto him. There was never really a time you could group mid against the Ziggs, because if he just throws a Q and explosive minefield, it just clear all the minions, and unless you want to just dive the tower or just tank the tower, then there wasn't really much you could do about him. His damage was always ridiculous. His passive, it's a minor damage change, so it's not really much to see here. It reduces laning a bit, I guess. But back on explosive minefield, this is really needed change. I think it just gives more counterplay to it. With blue buff, like I said before, just wasn't much you could do. You couldn't push onto him. There's no way you could group successfully. You had to split in order to take towers. Okay, minor changes and bug fixes. Kali, not much here, not much here, not much here. Static Shiv, okay. So Static Shiv has seen an increase in popularity quite a bit because of its cost efficiency and the fact that you can also get get your other items faster, Infinity Edge or Last Whisper, assuming you got the second. I wouldn't say this is a major nerf. I would say this is a nerf. When you have someone like Jinx who just kind of crits with her on top of a 10% attack damage and then Static Shift crits as well, it does really get out of hand. Someone like Draven as well. So I think this is it's an okay change. We might see people start getting Phantom Dance and all, but I don't think it's going to change that much. Mastery's Perseverance. Okay, this is actually a pretty major nerf. They pretty much nerfed it by half. I think this is definitely impacted towards top laners, bruisers, especially Mundo. Mundo had missing health by 5 seconds. So the problem with when the new masteries came out, Mundo instantly started becoming popular again, mainly because of this mastery. It is actually a ridiculous. It just synergizes with Mundo so well. Someone who just stays on low HP and keeps healing, keeps healing, keeps healing. I think this is definitely just a nerf to bruisers because they are really dominant at the moment. You see a lot of Mundo renekton top laners. I think this would just kind of help with their kind of overall problems in and out of lane. Okay, turrets, permanent first aid. There's not really much here. This was a change before. This was targeted at laning phase. But I don't really think this is going to be that big of a deal. It will be easier to close out games because it's only going to last 8 minutes as opposed to the flat damage reduction is only going to last 8 minutes as opposed to the whole game. So this would definitely just kind of impact. It would just be easier to close out games. Not really much there. Kha'Zix, Twisted Tree Line. I don't really play that, so I can't really see much on that. So okay. Thanks guys for watching. Like our Facebook page, I guess, and like my Facebook page as well. Cheers. Take care.